What up, team? Happy Monday. I have a this like ultra lean protein shake. This is not an ad. I'm literally trying to get more protein in my diet, and like there's only so much like flipping cottage cheese and chicken I can eat. I'm gonna vomit. So I got this. I usually hate these things. I think they taste disgusting. I know nothing about this brand. All I know is I saw them on Instacart, and like it's called Slate. I don't know. You are gonna test it with me right here. Let's see if let's see if this is any good. Oh God, please don't be nasty. Okay. Okay. I don't hate it. I can get this down. Okay, I'm a very clean ingredient person, but there's only so much you can literally find out there. So I like take the lesser of all evils. I just make the best choice I possibly can. 130 calories, one sugar, tons of vitamin A, potassium, vitamin D, calcium, 30 grams of protein. Okay, that's all I'm looking at right now. I get it. Protein's having a moment. It's been having a moment. I just need to try to get this down and not eat like an asshole. All right, anyway, again, not an ad. but, but hopefully someday, I think that'd be fun to, you know, really push product that I really like. I would never push anything I don't like on you guys. Like, I don't know if you saw my stories this morning. I I made like homemade like donut balls this morning, and they were actually really freaking good, and I did it decently on the first try. So let me just tell you this. And I was like, oh, let me just fuck around and make some cooking content. Here's the deal with me cooking, baking, making food. Okay, first of all, like prior to Brody and kids and everything, I used to cook all the time. Michael and I would go get like these just a whole shit ton of ingredients. We would take over the whole kitchen. You know, that was our thing, especially during COVID. We would just start drinking at like 4 and just start cooking whatever. Like we did octopus. I made like empanadas. I was making like eggplant parm. Like we were doing it all, and homemade pasta. And I'd say I've been on a pretty good health kick for a while as far as just watching the ingredients that are in my food. And I try really hard, but then, with kids and everything, I just kind of lost just lost my interest. I was too exhausted. There was, chaos. Now my kids are running around and playing with each other. And so for that hour and a half that they're fine and they're good and they're doing independent play, I'm like, okay, I can see them from the playroom in the kitchen. So I'm like, okay, let me just mess around in here. Let me tell you this though. Please do not be impressed by me. Okay? Please do not think that I'm doing anything that y'all couldn't do. Your girl has criteria for what she'll make. Okay? It has to be the simplest of ingredients / instructions. Like literally, if it's more than like 5 or 6 things, I'm like, I don't have fucking time for this. So very, very simple ingredients that I always already have in my pantry. Okay? Then it doesn't take long to make. Like I tried to make pizza dough the other day and it had to proof for like fucking 2 days, and I was like, I'm over this pizza. So it was awful. So no, it takes no time at all. Also, it's like foolproof. You really can't really mess it up too badly. Or if you do, you take notes and you're like, okay, let me try this again. Here's the kicker. Easy cleanup. Easy cleanup. I don't want 8,000 different things that I have to clean or put in the dirty section of the sink and wait until the dishwasher is cleared. Your girl cannot be inconvenienced. That's it. And I'm okay with it. So I'm never going to put a recipe on you guys that I don't think you can pull off. I'm making bread. The bread it's the easiest thing in the world. I now do it first. Like I get up in the morning, make my coffee, boys are still asleep, and I've got bread proofing for an hour, and by the time they're up, I throw it in the oven. Like it's so easy. I'm going to show you guys. Also, Wolfie has eczema and he's been dealing with some asthma stuff. And so I am really trying to clean up his diet just to see if something's going on in his gut. They say the two things are correlated, and I'm just trying to clean up his diet a little bit to see if maybe we could get away from his discomfort is what it is, and I feel so bad. Yeah, so he eats tons of pouches. Well, we do the Siggy's yogurt pouches, not a sponsored ad, but there's like very minimal ingredients in there. His crackers, he loves crackers. I got him down to the fire hook ones. Is that what it's called? 5 ingredients, 4 ingredients even. Like, I'm like, oh my God, can I make crackers? The problem is the sheer volume of shit. Like, the sheer volume of crackers and puffs and fruit. It's like, if I could have fruit in my yard, yeah, that'd be fantastic, because what we're going through, blueberries and strawberries, like, it's insane. Anyway, all I know is that, like, I used to, like, despise the weekends. I used to, right after Brody died. Brody is my first child, so when he was gone, I didn't know really what to do with myself. All of my friends had kids. Even my lost mom friends had kids or babies, because they were right ahead of me. And so everyone was off doing things with their kids over the weekends. And I didn't really want to be around kids, even though I loved my lost mom friends. I didn't want to be around babies. And I didn't want to go to kid-friendly places that often because, yeah, obviously, babies. It was challenging. I really did not look forward to the weekends, but yet I wanted to stay busy. Work is what kind of saved me. I loved jumping into work. I loved having work calls and doing stuff at my desk, because that kept me in a headspace that wasn't in a, significant amount of pain. So I worked a lot in the first year, and I hated the weekends. And I remember posting about this, like, does anybody else hate the weekends? And so many lost moms were like, holy shit, I used to hate the weekends before I had living kids. I used to hate the weekends in the first year. I used to hate the weekends right after stillbirth. Like, so it's a thing. And so if that's where you're at, you're not alone, and that's okay. And it also just feels so isolating, because, like, the world seems to, like, wait for the weekend, and it's just kind of like, well, yeah, no, I hate the weekend. This sucks. Like, what can I do? Can I just keep working? And we did. Michael and I would work through the weekends. We would go out of town if we could. We just had our own way of doing things, which was just so weird and just so, again, isolating, and no one really understood it. And it's hard to explain unless you've actually been there. And that's the thing. Like, whenever we all start talking about these struggles, that's when we all start saying, well, wait, yeah, I had a problem with that too. That's crazy. Wow. That's so, like, that's not cool, but, like, wow, I'm so happy that you had a problem with that too. Even though it sucked, but it makes me feel better. And I just remember in the first year just being so completely, all these things like, you're not broken, you're just grieving. No, I was broken, dude. I was, like, snapped in two. I was not a whole person. Understandably, yeah, hello. It's like the thing, like, categorically the worst thing, I'm never going to say the worst, one of the worst things to ever happen to a human being happened to us. I'm even going through, I did certifications for grief coaching and grief educating, and even he said most people would categorize the loss of a child as one of the worst things ever. Now, I will never, ever, ever say the stillbirth of my son is the same thing as losing a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, teenager, adult to suicide or a car accident or a murder or cancer. I would never, ever say that's the same thing. They are multi-layered and way different experiences. I can only speak from my experiences, saying that most people, especially pregnant moms, will look at you and you are their worst nightmare. And, if they say it to your face, what if I could bitch? Keep that to yourself. Journal that. Tell it to your partner. Do not tell it to our face. We get it. We know. But my son's death is not validation for your biggest fear, bitch. Ugh. Triggered. I would never be able to live if my baby died. Well, maybe I didn't love mine because I'm still here. The fuck? Don't say that. It's ridiculous. Even people commenting on my content kills me. Oh my, I'm reading this and I'm crying so hard holding my 1-year-old. I just don't even know how your mothers do it. Shut the fuck up. Are you kidding? How rude. I'm not alone in this. I've consulted other lost moms. If you don't have a problem with that, okay, great. You're a better person than I am. But don't say shit like that. That is crazy to me. My house burned down to the ground. I lost everything. Oh, I'm sitting in my beautiful, cozy home right now with my fireplace going, and I'm just so thankful for my sanctuary. I'm so sorry you don't have yours anymore. Bitch. Oh, I'm snuggled next to my husband as we go to bed together at night and pillow talk. I'm so sorry you lost yours. Ugh, what is wrong with people? The lack of self-awareness is just embarrassing. It used to send me to another dimension in the first year, even the second year. Send me fully to another dimension. Now I'm like, you're an asshole. And then I move along with my life. And my content, guys, I've started spitting out some content right now that is basically just helpful things that I hope they're helpful, but it's just things that I experienced in the first year after Brody died that I was like, whoa, this is a thing. And I was like, is this a thing? Why is this a thing for me? I've never heard of this before. And then I would go to other lost moms who have been there and they were like, yeah, this is totally a thing. So I put it in the book, like, or I put it in the guide, and I'm like, this is helpful. Getting some comments though, like, well, this wasn't what I experienced. That's fine. I'm literally sitting here and I must say it 5,000 times. This doesn't have to be your experience, but this is mine. And I'm shedding light on those who also struggled with it. And here is the thing. I can't possibly cover all perspectives. Even in my content, even in this podcast, I cannot cover all perspectives. And I hope you guys understand that. My perspective comes from a girl who grew up a dancer, who found the love of her life in Atlanta after she moved from Fort Lauderdale to escape a bitch of a toxic relationship, found the love of her life, is a former fitness instructor, owned a couple of businesses, sold them, had her first baby on the way. He died. Then I struggled to get pregnant again for a few months, not like infertility like everybody else. My God, the heartbreak that is alone. And got her baby after loss, who went to the NICU. Do you see where I'm going with this? My perspective is of my personal experiences. And if I give perspective outside of my personal experiences, it's only because I've had conversations with mamas who have had that experience. Multiples. We're on episode 127? There should be way more episodes, guys. If you do the math, I'm aware. But whenever I had a baby, I took like 6 months off. Okay. So there should be more. But we're at 127. That's a lot of conversations. That's a lot of DMs. That's a lot of emails and people I've met to basically give me their insight as well. So if you do see my content, I'm not leaving you out. You're not an outsider. If you don't feel the way that I feel, that's okay. If you had a totally different experience, that's okay. My point literally is not to tell anybody what to do or what's going to happen to them. It's mainly that if this happens or if this doesn't happen, you're not alone. This is a thing. If you feel this way, that's okay. If you don't feel this way, that's okay. So literally you're going to be reading everything and it's going to be like, at the end, it's always going to be like, and that's okay. Because it is okay. Like, this is however you need to survive. That's it. It's okay. I mean, if you're doing like super destructive coping mechanisms that could lead to your demise, that's probably not okay. But like, who am I to judge? I'll just give you a gentle nudge in a direction of maybe some additional methods of coping that could be healthy. I don't know. I'm going off the rails again. But yeah, the weekend was fun. We took my two living sons to Hot Wheels monster trucks. I'm a huge monster truck fan. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But whenever the boys want to watch it, I'm like, hell yeah, put it on now. I know them all. Now these were different. This wasn't Megalodon and El Toro Loco and Gravedigger. If you're like, bitch, what are you talking about? They are a thing. I have never seen anything like it in my life. To the point that I would like to drive one of these stupid cars. I would love to crush cars. I would love to soar into the air with fire and land on. I don't know if this is just me stressed out or if this is a legit dream of mine. So much so I'm Googling how to become a driver. The first thing chat says to me is, learn how to drive everything. I'm like, that's it. I'm not driving a stick shift. Like, the jig is up. I'm too old for this. So it's probably never going to happen, but there may be a day where there's like a VIP ticket I could purchase and just sit in one. That might be fine. That'll be fine. Or I can project all of my unfinished dreams and realities onto my children and force them to do it. I'm just kidding. No. Being a parent's wild. All three of my kids drive me insane. Brody's driving me the most insane. My other two are just... Brody is driving me insane because he's giving me, like, trauma. And, like, he's created this crazy mom that I am that I'm like, Brody, I need your help. These kids are jumping off things. They're making ramps. They're 1.5 and 2.5, and they're jumping around the house, making me nuts. I'm always thinking one's going to get stitches or one's going to get pneumonia, which is probably going to happen. But I'm just, to me, parenting after a loss is insane because Michael doesn't think this way. So it's definitely a me thing. Like, when Trey's jumping on one of the chairs, and the chair is in front of a window, and and he's throwing himself into the chair. My thought is, okay, he's gonna fly backwards into the window, he's gonna crash, he's gonna break the glass, he's gonna fall down on it, impale himself, and he's gonna die. Like, that's what my final destination millennial brain does. I'm probably not alone, but that's what I do. So to me, the jumping off the couch, they're gonna crack their head and they're gonna hit their neck a certain way and it's lights out and that's it. That's where my head is. So I don't know how many accidents or deaths or injuries I've thwarted being a psycho, because you can't really measure that. But I think I've done a good job with my craziness to avoid. I mean, I'm getting better. Like, I'm like, all right, guys, jump from the ottoman to the couch. It's fine. Like, you bang your head, you're gonna be great. You're fine. Trey like flew back in his chair eating lunch and crashed onto the back of it and had a knot and was screaming, but within like 5 minutes he was fine. And I was like, are we concussed? Do we need to go to the hospital? But you look at the things, you're like, okay, what's my checklist? Is he vomiting? No. Are his pupils dilated? No. Is he lethargic? No. Is the bump going out, not in? Yes. Okay. Did he fall more than double his height? No. Okay, well, this seems like he's okay, but you just never know. I think what ends up happening is, although we are a very rare statistic, I think it was 1 in 160 for pregnancies or stillbirth. I think now it's like 1 in 170. Isn't that worse? Wait, I don't know. Anyway, so my thing is like, these are still very rare statistics to happen to one person. So like, I'm thinking I've had so many rare statistics that it's almost impossible for me to have any more. That's where my brain is trying to go. But we do what we can, guys. We do what we can. There's literally, you can only do so much, and then you have to leave the rest. And be on guard if something happens. I've talked about this before. And yeah, so that was monster trucks. No cars flew into the crowd and crushed my kids. Their eardrums did not explode from the sound. Like, this was my fear. Psycho. They had a great time. They loved it. They lasted almost the whole show. 10 minutes before the end, Wolfie's like, I'm done. We're like, all right, let's go. Great. We'll beat the crowd. So that was great. So if they're in a city near you, take your kids if you have living kids. And it was great. It was fun. Something to do. And it was like freezing here. It was like snowing. Then on Sunday, I left the boys with Michael, and I went to go watch my nieces perform in their dance recital. And I don't know. I think the teachers and the choreographers are like close to my age, because like the songs are like fucking sad. I was sitting there weeping. And I'm like, do these girls know what this song means? Because he died, and now you live alone with an empty bed. I go, what? But something really hit me. Something actually really hit me. I need to look it up. I don't know who sang it, but it's the song Girls Just Want to Have Fun by, I guess, Cyndi Lauper. But this was a different version, a very, very slow, dramatic version of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And it made me, it made me so sad. Because we do just want to have fun. But when your baby dies, you just can't seem to have any fun. And then when the day comes that you do start to have fun, it's tainted. It's tainted. It's still a small dark cloud over you. Still that piece of your heart that's missing, that with every beat, your heart can feel that. And I long for the days of where fun was just fun, where fun didn't come with maybe a fear or a price tag, or where fun felt unsafe. Like, this won't last long. Like, what an oxymoron we are. We were these women who are seen out laughing and smiling and having amazing times sometimes, and on the outside look like just a girl having fun, but on the inside she's screaming, she's hurting, and she will be forever missing a part of her that is gone. God, what a fantastic mess this is. Just a fantastic mess. Now, if you're in the first year, none of this is going to make sense, because you can never see yourself having fun again. There's no such thing as fun. You will never have fun again, because that would be leaving your baby in the past. That would be moving forward away from your baby. That would be selling out. That would be showing the world that you're better, quote unquote. I thought that way. I wanted to remain sad and suffer, to remain close to Brody, because think about it. Our happy memories are with them in our womb, but the saddest, most traumatic ones are with them in our arms, lifeless and gone. So we don't have, quote unquote, good memories to think back on. So for most loss, remember their smile, remember something that made you laugh, remember your favorite thing about them. What were they like? What do you remember most about them? When we go back to the memories, it is the single worst thing that's ever happened to us at the same time. So sometimes thinking back is hurtful and painful and causes another trauma response and or grief trigger. And it's really hard to move out of that. It's really hard to recount your baby's birth without the sad, which is so unfair for them and so unfair for us. And that layer is what makes me so mad. It's like not many other losses have that layer. And then I start asking myself, like, so is it wrong to look at pictures? They make me so sad. Is it wrong to recount his death? Is it wrong to think about his birth? Because it hurts. I know someday it won't hurt as much, meaning the blow won't be as hard. So when you ask yourself, okay, so maybe I shouldn't think about the birth. Maybe I shouldn't think about the day I was told he died. Maybe I shouldn't think about his little fingers and his toes and how his face was altered by birth and death. But so I have to forget him? Something I'm currently working on. And I think the answer is you do what feels right for your heart. We can take the pain. It's not foreign anymore, it's familiar, and we know how to dig ourselves out. So if you want to tell his story or your baby's story, if you want to think about him, if you want to go there, you know how to get yourself out of it, which is the healthy thing to do. We can't sit in pain 24/7. We cannot. So we have to learn how to go there but come out of it. And if you think you can handle it, do it. If you're in a position in life where you can't, then don't. I don't think I did it when I was pregnant. Contractions would happen when I would get super anxious or overwhelmed with grief. So I took a step away. Part of how I justify that is I think I would do that even if he was alive. All my attention would go to the next baby, and that's where all the mom guilt comes from, on top of everything else. It's tough. It really is. And it's wild how this all changes so much. The pain, the first days of loss and grief, it was acute grief. Like, look it up. It's actually a thing, acute grief. And typically it lasts 3, 4, 5 months. Towards that 6 month or so, you're moving out of acute grief into early grief, which lasts year 1 and year 2. Now, and then it becomes just normal grief. Now, I'm not going to tell you the pain doesn't stop. I'm not going to tell you that you're never going to break down and stop. You are going to, frequently, but that will be intertwined with the ability to breathe and function again with the grief, with the pain, with the suffering. I made a post about the trenches. The trenches are, to me, the first 3 to 4 months after Brody died. And for a lot of lost mamas, that's when we, quote unquote, emerge from the fog. That's when you kind of come back into your body and you're like, what the hell now? What is going on? And not that your pain is gone, but you take a breath and you can leave the house and go see a friend, or go get your nails done, or sit down and start to do some work, or whatever it is, but you will still fall apart. But there's now space for those other things. The first 3, 4 months, 5, whatever, none of that happened. Like, you are out of body, surreal. The pain was so bad. Like, it felt like my eyes, my head went tunnel vision. I was no longer in my body. Like, it's the most insane pain. I just don't, it's hard to explain. But then after the trenches, you really do take a breath. Like, the waters that you're drowning in, you come to the top, take a breath, and then maybe you sink back down, but you're able to come back up from time to time. And then that switches with time. So now, 4 years out for me, I'm bobbing above the water. Occasionally I'll get pulled back down, but I'm back up, bobbing above the water, surfing now. I'm surfing the waves. Sometimes I get crashed into one and I will go under. But I know how to get back up now and get back on the damn board. So it flips the ratio of sad to happy, happy to sad, breathing, unable to breathe. The ratio has switched for me. And my hope is for you that it does that. And I will be honest, if it doesn't after a certain period of time, that's something to be investigated. That's something that you need to ask, and you need to see somebody. Because at some point, you should be able to breathe and function again. With the pain, with the excruciating pain. I'm not saying it's going to go away. A lot of moms were like, I'm such and such time out and I can't breathe and I don't think I ever will. You will. You will. And it's not moving away from your baby. It's bringing them with you and living a life worth living now that they're gone, and one that they could be proud of you for. I know that sucks. Like, no, not one person can say, Brody would want you to be happy. If your baby has not died, you cannot say that shit to me. I know that. I just, sometimes I try to think of him up there and him being like, hey, Ma, what are you doing? Get up. I'm fine. I'm right here. I'm fine. Stop crying. But also, he knows my tears mean I love and miss him. And that's what ended up happening. So I talk a lot about not giving a fuck. Let me be clear about what that means. I am hypersensitive to child loss, hypersensitive to baby loss, hypersensitive to pain and loss. Hyper. I mean, if that dog might die in the movie, I was already like this, but now get the fuck away from me. Like, I'm not watching it. Like, hypersensitive to making sure the people I love know that. Hypersensitive about time spent with those that matter. I give a shit. But what I don't give a shit about is how people think about the way that I grieve and cope and honor my son and parent him. That's what I don't care about. That's the only thing you should not care about, because it's very freeing to stop that. It's very freeing not to care what anybody thinks about it. That's the thing. So what it ended up happening was around I think after the first year, I ended year 2, I stopped really caring about how my honoring looked the outside and more about how Brody saw it. I would never want him to think that we forgot about him. I would never want him to think we've moved on from him. So most of the time I do things to let him know he is still special to us. I don't care what anybody else thinks. He's the most important one. Did we do candles and a birthday cake for him? And was it made out of strawberries because that's what he loved in my belly? Yes. And he saw that and he knows he is missed and he is loved. That's all this is. And guess what? That's parenting. Your kids need to know that you love them. You care about them. And you show them every single day if they're alive here on earth. I should be able to do that too for the one that's gone. Come for me. Fight me on that. Literally, the most freeing thing in the world is telling people to fuck off if they don't understand how this feels and why you're doing it the way you're doing. People are fighting in the comments saying, but I'm so sensitive now. No. You should be. So am I. You should be. But you should not be sensitive to how people feel about your coping. Because you never really know unless they tell you. And that's just rude anyway. Wild. Everything's wild. Everything has just changed. Like the first year, I refused to have any sort of conversation whatsoever about Brody or pregnancy or birth. And anytime there was like a group of people talking about it, but oh my God, my birth was so traumatizing, like holding your kid. I'm like, I gotta go. Maybe it was, but usually it's just like an unplanned C-section, which your birth plan went out the window and now you're super mad about it. I get it. You're allowed. You're 100% allowed. But I don't have to stand there and listen to it. Fuck. Whatever. But, that's like the weirdest thing too. It's like when people, like I let people like vent about stuff like that. Like, oh, my kid is driving me crazy. My birth didn't go planned. I had to have an epidural when I wanted no medication at all. And I wanted to go to term, but my water broke earlier than that. And just talking about a whole bunch of shit that I'm like, cool. And then I like nod and smile. I'm like, well, I'm so sorry that happened. Yeah. And then I leave. And then later on, they start following me and they could see that mine died. And I'm like, oh, that's awkward. Because you just now are sitting there going, wow, I said all those things to her. It's so awkward. We can't win. We cannot win. Because if I was like, yeah, well, my birth story was a little bit different. You know, mine was dead. So I got over-induced. So it's vomiting all night long from how much meds they gave me because they couldn't kill him because he was already dead. And then it took 9 pushes and he was out. I did have a level 1 tear, though, because he was a big boy for being, only 37 weeks. And then I hemorrhaged and almost died. Then they had to save my uterus. Yeah. And then I had to go to ICU, and he went to the morgue, so the last time I held him, he was a brick of ice. What if I did that at the playground? Oh, my God. So I don't say anything. Yeah, my birth was maybe I could sugarcoat it a little. What would that look like? Well, my birth was a little bit, not ideal. Yeah, but I'm here. What do you do? And then they go later on, find out your story, and you're like, shit. Like, there's no winning. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Literally, there's no winning. There's no right way. If you feel called to do it right there in the circle, like some moms are like, I fucking will never hide it. Okay, fine. Good for you. Say it right then and there and see what happens. Go for it. Pick the jaws up off the floor and then fill up the silence. Knock your socks off. Or maybe somebody there also had a situation like that and they have some underlying, unrecognized, undiagnosed trauma and they're sobbing. Okay, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Go for it. And if you want to keep it to yourself, also fine. Just really depends. It's crazy. So I used to completely dodge those. I would not go in public because I really just didn't want anybody to ask me any questions or whatever. And then what started to happen was I started to try to conceive again. And this was, going and getting some blood work and having conversations with doctors and people going over my charts and stuff. And I found myself being having to answer these questions. And so I was like, okay, well, here we go. And then after having a living in the second year after Brody died was like, okay, well now I'm forced to have these conversations. And so I started getting a little better at them, learning how to maneuver the way that I say things, asking questions before they can, keeping questions on them so the focus is on them. Whatever I was in the mood to do, is this your first? How many kids do you have? That sort of thing. Are you done having kids? All this shit. So I found my go-to answers and started to get a little bit more, less, I would say, hurt, more annoyed, So, so here we are 4 years later and oh God. So I have a story. So your girl was feeling like she had a UTI. TMI, no such thing here, whatever. You guys know. If you have a vagina, you probably have felt one of these. They're horrible. So I went to see my GYN. And what's crazy is I had just seen her 2 weeks earlier for my annual. So I'm not a stranger to this office. So let me paint the picture. I go to a place, it's an OBGYN, but I've only gone for OB. So I had Brody at a different OB office who was also my GYN. When he died, I refused to go back there, so I switched to a place that some lost mamas went to, and now a whole mess of us go there. Okay, this fantastic mess of us is all there. Okay, and they know us and they like us. And there's two male doctors that I see. Those are my OBs. One of them did my emergency C-section for Wolfie, saved Wolfie's life, and the other one delivered Trey. And I love them. They're great. But for GYN issues, I like to see a woman. I like to see their other doctor there. And so my point of saying that is like she doesn't really know me personally, know my history, because whenever I go there, that's not what she's seeing me for. Unlike a pregnancy, is not really correlated to a stillbirth or an early or a preterm delivery. So, but in my GYN appointment with her, my annual, we did go over all the shit. Like, how are you feeling? Are you resting? Like, are you feeling energy? Like this and that? Are you blah, blah, blah. So we were going over my whole record and like, am I done with kid? I don't know. Like, maybe not. And so like kind of talking about that. 2 weeks later, I came back in and I'm sitting there and I don't have a filter. So I'm chatting. I'm using words like vagine and sex, and I'm just talking like she's a buddy, and I probably shouldn't have done that. But anyway, she's looking at my chart, which is on her laptop, and she goes, okay, so you have 3 kids at home. And she's looking at my, like, the computer screen, right? And I'm like, well, no, I mean, I have 2 living. The first one passed away and was stillborn. And she goes, oh my God, I knew that. Wow. Okay, I am so sorry. I knew that. And I was like, well, technically you're not wrong. You know, I do have 3 at home, except one's in an urn. Jesus. She didn't say anything. Just kept looking at her computer. I'm like, oh my God, why did I just say that? Like, what unhinged level am I on right now? I think you guys get it. Like, if in the first year or 2, never could I have ever really said anything like that. Now, not that I think it's funny, but now I'm just like, that's a fact. There's 3 babies at my house. 1 is in an urn and 2 are living. I kind of just wanted to make her feel better about forgetting. So I blurted out this super awkward dark joke, which is not even a joke. It was actually true. But people don't know how to do it. You could drop these facts on people that are emotionally not prepared. Emotionally unprepared for this. Tell me you guys have said some crazy shit, honestly. I think I'm going to post about this on Instagram because I need to know if you guys have said some crazy stuff and what was the situation. I know Brody was up there slapping his hand on his head going, oh my God, are you serious? Or maybe he was like, that was a good one, Mom. I don't know, but here is the thing. If you are brand new into this lost life, you need to realize something. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but it might. They don't read the charts. They don't read the charts. And even if they do not absorb what happened. I cannot tell you how many times I was in a doctor's appointment. They did not look. And they are saying things like, so you have 3 babies at home. Awesome. Are they all boys? I see they're all boys. What's going on? That must be crazy. And I'm like, bitch, what? There was one that came in. It was an MFM appointment. I was shaking. I was so nervous. I was pregnant. And she comes in and she was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Why are you so anxious? Don't be anxious. Glances at my chart and goes, oh, that would explain it. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Like, we could have avoided that first part if you would just glance on your way in. I'm not even asking for too much of your time. Just glance on what you're dealing with here, especially if you are a maternal fetal medicine, which is usually high risk, probably means somebody has had a loss. I mean, you hear people wailing in the hallways at MFM appointments. It's beyond. You wait an hour because somewhere someone is getting a terrible prognosis. It's ridiculous. So what did you read it? I ended up in an ultrasound right after Brody died at my 6-week checkup. And I saw an empty uterus on the screen and I lost my mind. And the tech was so confused why I was so upset. She looked at my chart. She goes, oh my God, you're not supposed to be here. I have the wrong person. You sent me into a spiral because you are stupid? Ugh. So I hope it doesn't happen to you, but just be prepared. You can avoid things like this maybe if you announce, hey, can you just make sure that the doctor knows my history before they come in the room? I really don't want to talk about how breastfeeding is going or how my baby is. Like, I don't want to do it. And I'm super anxious, and this is why. Like, I had to tell the tech when I was getting pregnant with Wolfie, like, when you see the heartbeat, I need you to tell me you see the heartbeat. I don't need you to wait. Like, I don't need you to measure and look at this placement and just tell me there's a heartbeat immediately. And she was like, okay, no problem. What's the unfortunate thing is, sometimes people will get super, super caring people, especially my OB office knows me, I'm VIP, bright red on my chart. It's bright, well, clearly my GYN didn't read it, but it's okay. They have a lot of people. We are not the only ones in there, okay? People, there's a lot of moms in there. They have a lot of patients. I just do feel like if you're doing anything in life, be prepared for it and like look at who you're about to talk to, see if there's anything you might need to know, and then go in there. It probably won't take 10 seconds. It's wild. I hope it doesn't happen, but be prepared. But anyway, it kind of preps you to like have conversations all the time now. And I don't know. So like, I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I've got like 1 foot into lost mom and 1 foot out of like trying to make friends with mothers who are not lost mothers. And like, so Wolfie goes to school 3 times a week, this fantastic little school down the street. That's really just for him to make friends and learn how to play. And he can talk full sentences, and he knows how to count, and he knows all his colors, and he's like hilarious, and he's, thank you school, he's doing great. But they have like a gala. I don't know. I'm like, I can't think of anything worse than getting dressed up. I won't know anybody, so I'm supposed to go just meet people in this setting? I don't want to. I think I've always been like this, though. This just enhanced it. I'm like the most extroverted introvert you've ever met in your whole life. I do not work rooms. I'm not the loudest one in there. I would actually consider myself an introvert on this podcast because I don't have to interact. I'm just like talking, and here, go listen. So it's kind of wild. People are like, you're an introvert? I'm like the biggest one. Like, I'm shy. I don't really, and also I don't care anymore. So I don't know. I need to, I think we have plans anyway, so I don't even know if we can go, but I'm trying to figure out how much work I want to put into making like new adult normal friends. But he's only 2.5, so it's not really that big of a deal yet. I mean, we have all of his school life to do it, and it's going to be the same people. So maybe next year. I don't know, guys. We're doing our best. We really are. And like, that's all I could say is like, what a fantastic mess, because you guys are fantastic. You're up, you're doing the damn thing, you're showing up, you're crying your way through certain things, maybe in your car before others, you know, you're missing your babies, but you're pushing through life, you're just doing it, and you're still a friggin' mess. You really are. We are. Nothing will ever be perfect again. And I know that, and it's been freeing, and it's been sad, but nothing will ever be perfect again. So embrace the mess. And some days I get like frustrated, of course. You know, I'm a female. You know, why can't my house be a little tidier? And why can't my hair looks like shit today? And like, I don't like my weight, you know, like, but I think what it's going to come down to is like, what can you fix right now? What can you control right now? If I want to get my hair fixed, okay, go make a fucking appointment, bitch, and wait 2 weeks. If I want this weight off, it's day to day, minute by minute, making better choices. Like, it's not going to come off right now, you know? And I think it's just being patient with ourselves. I think that's really important. Be patient with yourself and give yourself the grace that you would give another mama. The pressure we would be putting on ourselves even before loss is crazy. We're women. Nothing gets done without us sometimes. I'm not going to shit on Michael at all. I'm not going to shit on men. I need men. I need Michael. I'm going to be honest. Like, I would love to be like, she power, woman, man hater. No, I'm not. He's great for certain things. I need him. And I will never act like I'm so independent. I don't. I'm just not. Fuck. And do you guys like my sweater? How cute is that, right? It was from one of my good friends as her Christmas present. Like, how perfect. How perfect. And it's cozy. It's very cute. I need to find out where she got it. I think Revolve. I'll post it on my LTK for you guys. It's so cute, and oh, I love it. I do a lot of the planning and the multitasking and the thinking ahead. How things get here and how things get done, I do have a significant hand in. So I will recognize that, and so does he. But there's things that he does that I'm like, okay, good, you handle that. That's your role. Things that I don't want to do. So it works out great. But the pressure, I can't tell you, my biggest heartbreak lately is me making something for my kids that I'm like, oh, they're going to love this. So good. So healthy. Put it in front of them and they throw it on the floor. And I'm not even kidding. They throw it on the floor. My 18-month-old does. I like cry because it's like, wait, that hurts my heart. I know you love it. And that's where I've been having to check myself before I wreck myself. Like, my days have been stressful, and like I'm diving into a new career that's heavy subject matter, and like building the content and writing the book, and everything has just been a little heavy. And so at the end of the day, I want to go hang out with my kids, and they're not nice to me. So I get really sad. Like, they love me, they love mama, but they're constantly yelling at me, I want juice, I want this, I want that, mama do this, doesn't want their diaper changed, so runs around the room screaming. They're toddlers. I can't take it personally. This is just how it is. They made a complete mess of the playroom, a beautiful mess, but one that I'm going to have to pick up, which is fine. But, they are just all over the place, and sometimes they don't listen. I don't think it's any reflection on me as a mom. I think it's because they're toddlers. But I get upset. I get like so frustrated and I start crying because like I want to be with them and hang out with them and spend time with them, and they're literally like, bitch, leave. Oh my God. I mean, one day I'll probably do the whole, you have no idea what it took to get you here. It's knowing your role, what your deal breakers are. But yeah. So I think mental health is a big, big deal for this. I had severe grief and severe trauma. I still have trauma, 100%, or PTSD, if you will. But I didn't have postpartum depression until Trey, and I had postpartum rage. I've talked about this on the podcast before, and the difference was insane on how I felt. It was very, very different. It's just bizarre how different grief and depression are. And God, so this stuff, these words are all just thrown around so much. Just thrown around. Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm so anxious. Ugh, trauma. No. Like, I didn't know until I had all three of those things that the feeling is insane. Oh, what a fantastic mess we're in here, guys. At least we're not alone. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope this is helpful in any way, shape, or form. And I hope you guys have a good week. I know that's tough, but whatever it is that you need from it, make it yours. And don't take shit from anyone. All right, I love you guys. I will see you out there.